Well folks, welcome to Netcruzer Cars. Working on a 2016 Toyota Tundra today, and we're gonna do an upgrade on it, going from halogens, which actually these are not stock already, right? These were upgraded once to the dark.
Yeah, they're the TRD Pro halogen.
They're the older TRD Pro halogens. This is a 2016 single cab long box. You never see these anymore. They don't make them anymore. Anyway, it's been progressively turned into like TRD Pro style over the years, but we're gonna do an upgrade on it. This is my buddy's truck, and we're gonna go to the full, what is this, 2019 or so?
Yeah,
or 2018?
19 to 21 TRD Pros.
2019 to 21 full LED TRD Pros. And in order to do this, you need a wiring harness upgrade and just some basic tools apparently. So the grill has to come off. We pop off the headlights, put in the new headlights with the new harness, some depinning we need to do to take off an amber light that we may not want on the new one. So far it's just taken a couple bolts out of the grill here. So a couple of grommets and a couple of 10 mils. And then we're gonna pop the grill off and see how easy these headlights come off. You can get the instructions and order the wiring harness from the TRD Pro forums. That harness came from the Tundra forums.
Yeah, a guy, username iHacker, and he sold hundreds and hundreds of them.
iHacker, okay. Yeah. Bumper does not have to come off, right? Just the grill?
So these pieces and the headlights.
All right. Okay, we got the grill off, and how you do that is after the hardware came off from the top that we showed, you have to be pulling up from the outside while pressing down on these clips behind the headlight. So you're pressing down while pulling up and out, and then the whole grill pops off. That's this clip here that came out. So this was attached here, and here's the clips that hold on. All right, now these little bumper protectors that hang out under the headlight are coming off. So there was just the two little, those are like the Christmas tree clips style here. These are like traditional body clip retainers. Popping those off, and then you're just a bolt. All right, so we did take off those two inner fender 10 mil bolts, and then you have to release the lower clip, which this one is already released, and then do your thing on the top ones again, which is kind of sketchy. You're just kind of pulling up gently on it, and then it declips. There's 3 clips along this seam into the fender, but you can't really get in there with a tool. You're just kind of gently pulling it out, just like that, and it comes off without breaking anything. So now we've got both those off. Now that's full access to the top and the bottom of the headlights. So who put these ones in?
The body shop, when I had them color match the bumpers.
Okay. All right. So this is the first DIY time it's being worked on. All right, cool. There's a 10 mil bolt in this black piece in through the headlight. Then there'll be some headlight clips to deal with, and then it should probably pull out, but we haven't unplugged any wiring yet at all. Okay, now that lower screw is out and the upper screws were already taken out before I started my intro, I'll be able to pull the headlight off and out. There's nothing really holding it on now except for friction. And then you just start pulling it off, and then you unplug the wiring.
Okay, so this comes up and over, and then it comes in.
Oh, okay. So we just had to pull his finger in up under here, and then now you just start unplugging this stuff, which is probably everything's going to need 2 hands for this. I can't even film and do that plug. All right, let me just start unplugging stuff, so let me put the camera down. All right, now the halogens are off. There's the 3 wiring plugs. They were all able to do by hand. You just have to press in on the clips while pulling on each of these, and then just a little Christmas tree clip was holding the harness to the headlight. Once you get there's actually 4 connectors. Once you get the 4 connectors unplugged, then you can just pull the headlight off. We're ready to start dealing with the new wiring upgrade and putting in the new LEDs, because now it'll become some of the wiring harness work, where all those new harnesses that I showed you on the table are gonna have to be put in here. But yeah, here's the truck without a grill and without headlights. Safety first, we're now unplugging the battery power before we start dealing with splicing in new electrical components. Technically, you probably should unplug the battery before you disconnect the headlights, but we forgot, so we're doing it now. Tuck off the negative terminal off your battery and keep going. Plugging in the new harness parts, and the instructions didn't really clearly say, just use your intuition that any plugs that fit into each other are the ones that you're going to plug into each other. So then that ties both sides together, and because my friend went with the option of the dimming DRL, this plug we need to shovel under the radiator, through the firewall, and into the cab, I believe. So right now both wiring harnesses are connected to each other through this, which is the LED DRL type connector. The one we were struggling with figuring out was this plug here. It's a square type plug, so we just had to use more harness parts, new harness parts. We should now have everything ready to plug into the new headlight assembly, and then it'll be routing that wire through the firewall to get the dimming LEDs down, which is an option, so it works like full factory, like a 2019 truck will, where the outside LEDs will be able to dim and brighten depending on what mode your headlights are in. So we're working on that now. So we got one new headlight in and all the connectors plugged in. The other side's still off, and I'll show you what connectors you plug in. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. You're just managing this wiring while you're pushing in the headlight, and you're connecting any of the loose connectors that you have on the back of the headlight. Some of them come from the factory harness, other parts are part of the new harness, and yeah, you're just watching. You don't pinch wires against these frame members or against any of the metal parts, as you have a lot more wiring to manage now as you push it back in. So 2 people is greatly beneficial for this. And then it will be wire managing this one, the crossover for the LED DRL dimming, under the rad, and then the one connector go through the firewall. That already enhances it, and we haven't even got all the parts on yet around it, but that looks great. New headlight coming in. So this one is the main new connector from the new harness. This replaces this one. This used to be the main headlight connector, which we zip tied into this connector on the new part of the harness because it doesn't have a clip. They do recommend that. So this is the new main headlight. Yep, other way. Click. And we're just matching up everything that matches up. Right. Why is that to the... There's the other triangle. There's the triangle one. This one's for the leveling.
Right there.
Triangle goes here. Come in closer with your headlight a bit. Okay. That one goes to this one, and then where does this one go? Oh, up there. Yeah. So yeah, there's 3 connectors on the headlight.
That a little bit.
Yeah, there's 3 connectors on the headlight. Okay, and we just need to connect this to the new harness side, and then we just push it in, right in the cabling. Okay, that's the second headlight in. It does take 2 people, just kind of push it in, route all the cabling, because you've got a pretty tight spacing in here, and I mean, it's very hard to see, but there's a lot more wiring in there behind there before. Make sure that none of it is going to get pinched on anything. So just make sure you've got good clearance on all your wires. And it's just the one machine screw on this side, the 2 self tappers on the top, and that's your new headlight in. Now we're just going to work on the routing the dimming DRL wire through. Tied the crossover wire against this cross member here. Now we're going to work on getting this to go through that firewall grommet there. And on the other side, you're going to take off some of the interior trim, and you can just pop off the sill plate and the inner liner, and we're going to try and get up access to the grommet. It's going to be very hard to see, but again, this is going to be another 2-person job. You're going to want someone on the inside, someone on the outside as you feed through that wire. All right, so we have all poked through there. This is a little scary because you're close to the main harness, but we're going to try and just tape to that or fasten it to that all somehow and then pull it through. But it's really tight. So all the carpet's in the way. So behind the carpet is a thick grommet. So we're going to try and see if we can pull that wire through. It's success. We did get that wire pulled through, but it took quite a few tries. Definitely had to use a thin coat hanger. These are getting hard to find now. We tried a bunch of different awls and tools, and we got this coat hanger to work. So we got that pulled through. Wire we just push through. We just click that connector on. It's just a press fit. So you put that connector on after you get it through the firewall, and then we have to wire up this harness. So that connector is going to connect into that connector. And then we've got 2 other leads here. We've got 1 red wire and 1 black wire and this blue little connector, and then I think we're gonna have to depin a harness on the factory harness to disconnect the amber DRL, and then I'd imagine that relay needs to get tied up somewhere, and then we figure out where the other pin goes. We should be done, besides just some trim reassembly and testing. Next step is the depinning, and we cannot get at it from all the connectors underneath. You have to get it from these connectors through here. So we're now disconnecting this lower part of the dash where all the switches are, so we can get in behind to these wires to do the depin and the connection for the DRL. All right, we've been working away because it did take a while. So last step I showed you was we plugged this in. Then there was two other connections we had to make. This is for the dimming DRL as well as the amber DRL delete. So the next part was the amber DRL delete. That was the most challenging part because you're actually working off of this plug here. You have to unplug it and you have to depin it. So you're trying to take the gray wire off. You're depinning this from the gray wire location, so it's best to have a depinning tool. We tried our best. We ended up breaking the wire, pulling it out. So we had those two little connectors, they're gone now, but if you do it properly, if you pay attention to this instructions on tundras.com on where to press, if you don't have a proper depinning tool, you can do it with like a little pin. You can get that clip out. Then you're gonna connect the gray wire to the black wire, which instead of using the pin reconnect, we ended up just splicing and heat shrinking it together. So it's a secure connection, but you're going from a 12 gauge wire to a 22 gauge wire, and that's also why they want you to use the pin. Then it's the power tap, the 12 volt power tap, which this is still talking about the gray wire to the black wire. This is how it should look if you use the pinning tool it comes with, but we just spliced it direct because we broke the wire, the 22 gauge. And this part is the blue posi tap. So you get a blue posi tap with the kit. You're looking for the big black wire that's on top of the big red wire, and you're using this posi tap thing to tap it all together. These wires all tap together just like this. So this is it tapped together with the posi tap, the red to the black, and now we're all done for wiring. Now we just have to hang the relay up, put the lower dash back in place. All right, success. We just tested it and it did all work, but right now we're just on the final reassembly part, and then I'll show you it all working at the end. So right now we're just putting the grommets back in. So put the lower trim back on. As we wrap this up, for tools, you are gonna need a trim popper tool. You're gonna need a 10 mil and all probably for poking the wires through the grommet if you want to do the DRL dimming, and mostly that's it. Might need some little pliers and stuff for some trim popping tools for getting the lower dash off, but we just pulled on it. And then zip ties to wire up the wiring that goes in behind the grill, which I did show you that earlier. Right now the grill is on. Just on the final cleanup. It's a good looking headlight, TRD Pro LEDs. All back together. This is how it looks with the grill and hood down. The new TRD Pro headlights on SR5 single cab long box. So the owner of the truck just hopped in it now. He's going to turn it on, and then we get the LEDs at full brightness. So LEDs are at full brightness right now. That's how it will be driving around during the daytime. Then you turn the lights on and the DRL's dim. You see how it dimmed down around the LEDs? So that was why we had to run the wire through to the inside to get that to happen. And now this is, fogs are on. He also upgraded the fogs. And then this is the signal. So also as part of the depinning process, normally that is on all the time. So we wanted that off because it's a much cleaner look with it off. And so yeah, this is the new look. Yeah, awesome. I'm excited to go drive it tonight at night and see what that looks like. So that's great. This amber is just a reflector, but now he's got the LED, full LED headlight, high beam, low beam, and DRL, and the only incandescent is that little signal bulb in there. All right guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you don't want to subscribe, if you want to talk to me, leave a comment down below. As always, thanks for watching.